The Four Pillars, a critical examination of governmental functions. The core functions of government are often presented as self-evident necessities: order, security, services, and justice. These pillars are frequently cited as the bedrock upon which a functioning society is built. But a closer, more critical examination reveals complexities and potential pitfalls that challenge such simplistic assumptions. Order, at its most basic, is the assurance of social stability and the prevention of chaos. Governments achieve this through a variety of mechanisms, most notably laws, regulations, and the enforcement of those laws by police and other agencies. However, the very definition of order is inherently subjective. What constitutes order for one group may represent oppression for another. Laws, while ostensibly neutral, can be used to suppress dissent and maintain the status quo. This is particularly evident in the disproportionate application of laws targeting marginalized communities. These communities often face heightened surveillance, stricter penalties, and a general presumption of guilt. The pursuit of order, therefore, can inadvertently reinforce existing power structures and exacerbate inequalities. Furthermore, an excessive focus on order can stifle innovation and individual liberties. When conformity is prized above all else, creativity and critical thinking are often suppressed. Ultimately, the relentless pursuit of order can lead to a society that prioritizes control over freedom. This raises fundamental questions about the balance between collective security and individual autonomy. Security, another cornerstone of governmental function, is typically defined as protection from both internal and external threats. This necessitates a complex apparatus, including defense forces, intelligence agencies, and emergency services. Yet, the pursuit of security is not without its own set of ethical and practical dilemmas. One of the most significant critiques revolves around the erosion of civil liberties in the name of security. Increased surveillance, often justified as a necessary tool for preventing terrorism or crime, can have a chilling effect on freedom of expression and association. The constant monitoring of citizens raises serious concerns about privacy and government overreach. Moreover, the concept of security is often used to justify military interventions in other countries. These interventions, while presented as necessary for protecting national interests or promoting democracy, can have devastating consequences for the populations involved. The security dilemma further complicates matters. As states arm themselves for defensive purposes, they can inadvertently provoke other states to do the same, leading to an arms race and increased instability. Finally, the focus on national security can overshadow the security of vulnerable populations within a country. Issues such as poverty, homelessness, and lack of access to healthcare often pose a more immediate threat to individuals than external aggression. Governments also provide a range of services aimed at improving the quality of life for their citizens. These services typically include education, healthcare, infrastructure, and social welfare programs. The purpose of these services is to address inequalities and ensure a basic standard of living for all. However, the provision of government services is often plagued by inefficiencies and bureaucratic red tape. Complex regulations and cumbersome procedures can make it difficult for citizens to access the services they need. Furthermore, access to services is often unequal, with certain communities being underserved. This is particularly true in marginalized or rural areas, where schools may be underfunded, hospitals may be understaffed, and infrastructure may be lacking. The quality and accessibility of services in these communities often fall far short of what is available in more affluent areas. This disparity perpetuates cycles of poverty and inequality. The debate over government versus private sector involvement in the provision of services is ongoing. Proponents of government involvement argue that it ensures greater equity and accountability. Conversely, proponents of private sector involvement argue that it leads to greater efficiency and innovation. These arguments often center on competing values of efficiency, equity, and individual choice. Justice, the final pillar, is generally understood as the fair application of laws and the resolution of disputes. This is achieved through a system of courts, legal frameworks, and law enforcement agencies. However, the ideal of justice often clashes with the realities of the justice system. Biases, inequalities, and inefficiencies are pervasive, undermining the very principles upon which the system is based. Systemic prejudices, whether conscious or unconscious, can influence every stage of the legal process, from arrest to sentencing. These prejudices often disproportionately affect marginalized communities, undermining the presumption of innocence. Furthermore, access to justice is often limited by financial constraints. Legal representation can be expensive, making it difficult for low-income individuals to defend themselves in court. This creates a two-tiered system of justice, where those with resources have a significant advantage. Finally, the focus on punishment often overshadows the potential for restorative justice. Restorative justice seeks to repair the harm caused by crime and to reintegrate offenders back into society. By focusing solely on punishment, the justice system often fails to address the underlying causes of crime and to promote healing and reconciliation.